Okay, we're going to get started with a little background on you by running our first poll. And this question is, we just want to know if you have a 2014 marketing plan in place. Chelsea, if you want to go ahead and run the poll for our audience.
Okay. So if you
We'll give
guys
you a
could,
few seconds, just a yes or no question.
okay. Only looks like about half have voted so far, so just give them another couple seconds.
And your participation in the polls, we just have 2 today, is greatly appreciated. Just it gives us an idea how to better our upcoming webinars and what we need to focus on to help you.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close it. So it looks like 43% said yes and 57% said no.
Okay, so we're going to get into why it's important and kind of the meat of a marketing plan. And in today's presentation, we'll outline the important steps within the digital marketing plan. Again, digital marketing is just a simple marketing that it makes use of electronic devices such as computers. It's a field that's constantly evolving, so it's really important to begin to understand the importance of incorporating into your business. They say that businesses that have a plan in place are 3 times more likely to get results than who do not have a plan. Plan is, you want to make sure that it's easy to understand, that it's within your means, it's easy to execute, consistent and professional. And your digital marketing plan will act as a guide as for your objectives and includes an action plan for those to accomplish these goals. So before you begin to accomplish or discuss what you need to accomplish, you're going to need to figure out your target audience. And Chelsea is going to dig into this on how to find your target audience.
Thanks, Jess. So researching your target niche allows you to pinpoint your marketing and the way in which you advertise your products or your services. Target marketing is an efficient and effective way to reach prospects, and it's also going to help you save some money. So determining your audience will in turn help you to decide how to market and where to market. So the first step is going to be determine your niche. So for instance, Educate to Motivate, we're a marketing company, but we specialize in marketing for financial advisors and attorneys. Another example, if you're an attorney or any attorneys on the line, are your prospects business owners? If so, do you have a certain net worth that you work with, like $5 million or more, 20 million and more? The second step is going to be to define your current audience. So do you find that you're speaking to the right audience, or do you find that you're attracting the wrong prospects? The third step is look at what your competition's doing. There's nothing wrong with doing that, to just kind of take a look, see what they're doing. You know, who are they targeting? How are they doing it? Is there a niche that they're overlooking that you can target to? The fourth step is going to be demographics. Who has a need for your product or your service, and who's most likely to buy it? Some factors to look at are their age, their gender, their income, education, and what they do, their occupation. The fifth step is the psychographics. What are their values? What's their lifestyle? What social class are they in? What's their behavior? Some of their interests and hobbies. So really understanding your target audience will make a significant impact. Who they are, what they do, where they're located. Once you know your target audience, the next step in your plan is going to be to define your marketing goals, which Jesse's going to talk about next.
Okay, thanks, Chelsea. So defining your marketing goals is going to be the next step in your outline. This is just going to clarify your business objectives. And it seems there's a tendency for marketers to try and create a one-size-fits-all for digital marketing, but digital marketing objectives will be specific to online initiatives, and it's simply what you'd like to achieve. So some examples of some goals that you might note down could be to gain more followers on social media, and especially with up-and-coming social media platforms that are constantly growing. This could be a good step. It's an easy thing that it's not so much easy, but it's a simple thing to jot down as a goal and to hopes to accomplish. Next thing is increase a brand awareness, and this is kind of an overall as a company brand that you're going to want to create some type of conversation, or you can have just more traffic to any of your websites. So that's going to be kind of touch base with a bunch of different where you market your brand. The third and the fourth goals are kind of interchangeable. It's drive more traffic to your website, higher rankings on search engines. And both of those, you could say you want to drive more prospects to your website and then convert them to leads. With the higher rankings on search engines, it just could be falling first on SEO, or maybe you want to hit the first page when someone's searching estate planners in Chicago, let's say. And so that's just going to be to increase your rankings through search engines. Fourth goal that you could note down could be to generate larger email lists. This is just going to be simply something that you want to expand reach through email marketing. So goals is going to be the first step or second step to defining your market, to clarify business objectives. And after deciding on what goal you wish to accomplish, you'll need to take a look at your budget in order to decipher the strategy you want to implement. And Chelsea's going to be covering how and what to pay attention to while figuring out the logistics. So Chelsea, give us a little bit about the budget.
So like Jesse said, whether your marketing goal is to increase brand awareness or say drive traffic to your website, you'll need to decide how much money your business can afford and is willing to spend on its marketing efforts. So anything from conferences to spending just a few dollars a month on social media platforms should be included. So a few things to include in your marketing budget. The first is going to be your website. So if you're just now starting and you're starting from scratch and you want to set up a website, you're going to have to pay for both the domain name and then the actual setup of your website. And once that's set up, you'll need to make some occasional updates to your website. Something that we suggest is using a web developer for the actual setup, just because they are more knowledgeable. And then hiring an intern or a web student that's in schooling for web development for website updates, just because it's cheaper for you and it gets them experience. Another thing, social media platforms. Some social media platforms like LinkedIn offer upgraded versions, but we've found the free versions work fine. You just get more features if you pay. Marketing consultations. That's going to vary based on the company, whether they charge an hourly fee or a project-based fee, and then it's also going to depend on what you're looking for. Are you just looking for suggestions, or do you want them to actually do work? Any events, workshops, or conferences that you hold, you have to pay for food, coffee, drinks, rent space, or space for rent, paying it for the room, any promotions, contests, product giveaways, you need to include that. And then once you've decided what to include, you should keep track of it each month and do a plan to actual analysis. So how much did you plan to spend? How much did you actually spend? And then you can make any adjustments needed. And after you've figured out how much your business is willing to spend on its marketing efforts, Jesse's going to explain the next step, which is decide how you'll use that money to market.
Thanks, Chelsea. So in order for businesses to grow and stay relevant, you need to make sure to consider many types of marketing strategies. These strategies can communicate to a target market the benefits or features of a product or service. The strategy will be used to achieve your specific objectives. So if you see here on the chart, some of the strategies to use depending on what your goals are. There could be to promote your services, customers, if you want to increase, let's say, your social media followers. If one, that would be more for publicity or customer, social media. So let's go through a couple of strategies on which you can start to employ. Relationship marketing is simply just the building of relationships. It could be building relationships with current customers, or it could be building relationships with new prospects. So it could be something that's already in place or something that's in the works. Online marketing is another strategy that falls directly with digital marketing. Sometimes they're interchangeable, but these are going to be anything from online banners, SEO, and email. So if your goal was to drive more traffic to a website or higher rankings on search engines, the online marketing strategy is really going to help you achieve this. You can focus on design, development, and advertising for your website. Figure out how to market your services or products using your website. So it can be as simple as revisiting your index page, your home page on your website, making sure you have calls to action within those pages. And you can always cross-market using your website and engage with other firms, and you can promote and have inbound and outbound links to other websites, which then increase your SEO drastically. So that's always a good tip. Um, Email marketing is another online marketing strategy, and this is going to just be using content that's going to be grabbing your reader's attention. InnoVision and Educate to Motivate focus on promoting educational resources for our customers or clients. You want to make sure that you're writing good content, whether that be you are purchasing your content or you are writing it yourself. You're going to want to make sure that it's rich and valuable information that you are promoting. Uh, Another good tip for online marketing is going to be segmenting your database to directly group your message. This is going to be specific to email marketing, and that way you can really target your message to that group that you are marketing to. And next, for strategies, you could do event marketing. And what we focus on for both Educate to Motivate and IKV is we use the strategy of event marketing, but using online events. So we really try to hold monthly webinars, and these are just going to be educational webinars, and sometimes through IKV we offer CE credit. So that's just more of a ploy to try to get people interested and kind of create a little buzz throughout the different channels in which we market our online events. Content marketing, which I mentioned under the online marketing, is a whole separate strategy that you can use, and this is content is being created and published on various platforms. And it's just going to be content that's going to be, like I said, rich and valuable and informational, and this is going to be without making a direct sales pitch. So it's kind of an easy way how to get across what services you're offering, maybe relating it to the article at hand, or diving into a specific topic. And what's nice with content marketing is that you can use to post, you can share, forward, like and comment on the content, and you can try to distribute that throughout your channels on a blog or an email or a webinar like we mentioned. Something to consider that I mentioned before in email marketing is you're going to have to decide whether or not you're going to want to write your content or to purchase. One thing we always like to mention is that E2M offers our pre-written content. We offer in 3 different niches, so that's a good way to target what kind of audience we have. So we segment ours into high net worth, business planning, and estate planning. Niche marketing is going to be the last strategy that I'm going to cover, and this is going to be finding a specialized but profitable corner of the market. Some marketers like to say that it's a secret recipe for growth in an overcrowded marketplace. So you're going to hone in on to one specific niche. As Chelsea mentioned, InnoVision, our niche is to focus on clients with families or business owners of 25 million and up. So we focus on the ultra high net worth. That's our niche that we kind of go into. Educate to Motivate's niche is going to be education and marketing for advisors, attorneys, and financial professionals. So after figuring out these strategies and what you will be using, it's not only going to be critical for you to follow an implementation protocol, but it's important to assign the right person to accomplish the goal. It's important you appoint an individual or group to see through the strategy. So before we move into the marketing implementation, we're going to run a second poll. This is just going to help figure out for Chelsea's next segment of the implementation, who is best to do the to follow through with these goals. So we're curious to see what your position within the company you work for.
Okay.
Chelsea, if you'd go ahead and run the poll for us.
Yep. So, what's the position that you do? We have marketing, financial professional, attorney, business owner, or if other if it's not listed. So it looks like almost half have voted. Just give them a couple more seconds. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close the poll. Okay, so as Jesse mentioned, there are many marketing strategies out there. So after you've narrowed down the ones that you're going to use, how are you going to go about implementing them? So we think that you should sit down with your team and discuss what's going to be the best way for your company to carry out your strategies in order to get the marketing results that you want. So the best way to come up with a way to implement your marketing is to make it easy to execute. Keep it simple, keep it organized. If you put too much into it too soon and it's too complex, you're probably going to find that you're not going to follow through with it. So just keep it simple. Maybe start with just a few platforms, and then once you do notice that you are following through with your implementation, then begin adding more steps or add more platforms just to make it more detailed, to kind of expand your marketing a little bit. But if you start too complex, you're probably not going to find that you're following through with it all. And then once you're following through, so what we do to make sure that Educate to Motivate and for IKV, to make sure that we are implementing our marketing, we create a Sun calendar, or what other people might refer to as an action plan. And that it integrates all of our marketing strategies into an organized plan of action. So when you're creating this action plan, remember what they used to tell you, like when you were in elementary school and you were writing a story, the 5 W's, or who, what, where, when, why, and then how. So for who, delegate a staff member to be in charge of the post. So does it make sense to assign a blog post or a newsletter article to the CEO to write if another employee is capable of writing it? So outsourcing can be helpful as long as it fits your budget. And like we said, Educate to Motivate, we do offer content marketing, so we can help you there. The what is the content that's going to be posted. So what we usually do is we call them social media blurbs, and we write like a sentence or two, and then we include a link. And one tip that we have for you is to use a shortened link in any of the posts that you put out there on social media or in your emails or your blog posts. And Jesse's going to go over why that's important in the next section. The where is the location of the content. So are you posting it to the social media platforms, all of the social media platforms, or just some of them? Is it an email blast? Is it going to be a blog post or newsletter article? When is the time frame or the date and the time of the post? And just a suggestion, just be careful of the frequency of your posts, just because you don't want to oversaturate your audience. Why? Is it an educational post? Is it a current event? So, for our industry, we've noticed that a lot of times at the beginning of the year, we'll post things about like current, or new tax laws for 2014 or something along those lines. Is it promotional? Are you sending out an invite to a webinar or some sort of a conference that you're holding? And then the how. Is it scheduled or is it manual? So what we personally do, our email blasts are all scheduled because we do them in the morning, because we do send through our database. We do our social media posts manually. And then there's also an option to use a social media dashboard, so something like Hootsuite, which allows you to post your content where you can schedule them. So if you want to schedule them you can do like 6 months in advance. And then what to include in your Sun calendar: all social media posts and which platforms you're going to post them to, any blog posts, email blasts, any PR campaigns, any invitations or follow-ups. And then we suggest planning 4 to 6 month increments, just because you're not rushing at the last minute to say, oh, well, what are we going to post this week? What's going to go out next week? Just like we said, keep it planned and keep it organized. So implementing your marketing strategies will be easy to execute as long as you keep it simple, organized, and everyone is on board and understands the action plan. Once your content's going out on a regular basis, you'll want to see how successful your strategies are or where they may need some improvements, which Jesse's going to discuss next.
Right, thank you, Chelsea. So in a study by Unica State of Marketing, they reported that 57% of marketers cited that measurement analysis and learning as the biggest bottleneck they face within their organization. So this is just saying that understanding the key elements that influence your audience behavior on specific channels can help your brand to focus on the direction of their content. Analytic tools are available for the majority of networks, and these are going to offer valuable insights into behavioral patterns and engagement levels. So when Chelsea mentioned before on targeting your audience and the psychographics of those or the demographics, this is going to help to figure out too for maybe your next plan that you write for the second quarter or the second part of the year. You can take these analytics and better target that audience. Um, some sites also give you a specific analytics and they track those themselves. So let's get into a couple different tools or platforms that you can use and what you're going to need to track and how often. This is going to be important, like I said, because it's going to help you evaluate and adjust your marketing efforts for the upcoming implementation and for your next marketing plan. So some tools that we suggest that you can use to track and then measure. We have web analytics, and some free ones that are always nice to use are Google Alerts. And what Google Alerts are just alerting you of different trends that are going to be out in kind of the digital world. We set up alerts for different keyword specific, or you can even target your own company, and let's say you want to be alerted anytime InnoVision is like either posted something in the digital world, or if an article is written about you or something has been let's say emailed out, or like a webinar, anything that's posted out into online is going to be tracked and then you'll be alerted. So that's nice to figure out upcoming trends as well. So if you not only wanted to hear about, if your goal was brand awareness, you could track that. You could track a specific niche if that was to be it by setting up keyword. Google Analytics is another tool that Google offers, and these are just going to be specific to your website, and they're going to be simple links that you embed into your website. And this can either be done by someone that's in your office that you appoint to manage your website, or it can be added by your webmaster. And they said it's just going to track web traffic, or not web traffic, I'm sorry, your website traffic, and it's going to track unique users. It's going to track repeat users. It's going to track bounce rate, so how often somebody or how fast somebody leaves your website. This is going to be important in tracking to see, let's say your goal was to create more brand awareness and you were going to be using webinars to accomplish this goal. Well, if we have, let's say, a webinar that we're hosting, we usually post it on our website. And the purpose on posting on our website is to then have somebody directed to other pages on our website, so then they can become familiar with our services that we offer, and maybe ultimately we would like to convert them to a lead, which then we can follow up with. So these Google Analytics are going to give you a chance to see whether or not those initiatives are actually being successful. And then it also can give you an idea of what you need to improve on your website. If your bounce rate is really high and after this one page you might know that you're going to need to reevaluate the content on that, and maybe have some type of call to action on that that's going to then deter them to another web page. Email marketing software analytics are going to be something you're going to use if your strategy was email marketing. And depending on what CRM system you use, these are going to be, most of the time they offer their own analytics within the software. We use a program, well, two programs. Our database uses a side service that has special links that we can build which track specific. So whenever we're sending out an email and somebody clicks on something, we capture everything, what time they clicked, where their link was going to, and who it was. So we could follow up, or we can jot down all of this information, and then we can reevaluate at the end of the quarter to see okay, was majority of people interested in this webinar, or was it more of, let's say for InnoVision, we try to track our webinars by we have case study, we have a marketing, and then we have a technical. So it helps kind of decipher what we need to focus on for the next quarter. Leads from contact forms are going to need another platform program you can use, and this is going to be part of the web analytics. This is something that you could place on your website, and it's kind of interchangeable with the marketing, the email marketing software, because it's going to have a contact form on your website, and then it's going to communicate to your database who that is and either import the contact into your database, and then you'll be notified of who. But that's something you need to figure out with your own CRM system. Social media monitoring is if your goal was to increase your followers on a specific social media platform. Most social media platforms, if not all, have a really nice analytical tool which will show you any tracking. It kind of shows you who visited, if they commented or whatnot. And some of those you can see yourself, but others you have to go to the settings and kind of see the page analytics. Okay, so what are you going to track and how often? We suggest, depending on what your strategy is, what your goal in place, and how you're going to be implementing this, on what to track. So if your specific goal was to, let's say, create brand awareness, you're going to want to track the specific clicks to and throughout your website, an outbound link. So if anybody's promoting your material or if they are talking about you, that's all brand awareness. So people are, you're in the buzz. Traffic to your website is going to be specific to, I mentioned the leads to contact forms, and the web analytics for like Google Analytics. Those are going to help specific to see anybody that's coming in from your website, or not from your website, for let's say from an outside source into your website. And you're going to want to make sure you're noting down the demographics. As I mentioned, for the content marketing, you're going to want to this is going to help you hone into a specific niche. So as Chelsea said, the who, what, why, and where. And this is going to help pinpoint what you're going to need to focus on in the future and continue to focus on for your marketing initiatives. So at the end, what we do at InnoVision and E2M is we have many different marketing plans in place, and at the end of the week or the end of the month or the quarter, we go ahead and analyze and measure. We take all of the information. Let's say we use an online source that is collecting all of that analytics, the traffic or whatnot. We then put them on a spreadsheet and we go through those. And Chelsea and I discuss, what we need to improve on, and it's just going to help decipher what you maybe need to focus on the next quarter. So now that we've kind of went through, let's just reevaluate everything that a digital marketing plan is going to include. Chelsea covered defining your target audience, and that's going to be important onto why you're marketing, who you're trying to reach. Defining your marketing goals is going to be specific to an objective that you want to accomplish. Just a simple one line, what do you want to do? What do you hope to accomplish at the end of this plan? Your budget, you want to make sure that you are within your means. If you only have a budget of $5,000, you're going to make sure you're going to spread it out and allocate the expenses accordingly. Your marketing strategy is going to be what strategy you will use to accomplish your marketing goal. And the implementation is actually seeing that strategy out. Who will you appoint to help implement these and employ these different strategies? Analytics and measurements, you're going to want to make sure that you're tracking everything that you're doing. You want to make sure there's a ROI, return on investment, on your whole marketing plan, and that way at the end of your plan, if you need to present this to the CEO or your company owners, you're going to want to make sure that you have proof whether or not your plan is working. And then if it doesn't work, you can then figure out the next step on how to better your plan for the next time around. Okay, well, I think now it's time for Q&A.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
before we start the Q&A, I just wanted to invite everybody to join our part 2 of our digital marketing plan webinar series. In part two, we're just going to kind of go over how Jesse and I can help your business with its marketing. If you aren't familiar with Educate to Motivate's services, we do provide email marketing. It's just a monthly newsletter branded to your company and sent out on your behalf with either an estate planning or business planning article. We also offer content marketing, which Jesse mentioned earlier. It's high quality content that you can edit, share, brand, and send on your terms. We'll also go over some article topics and our marketing consultation services that we offer. And there's also going to be an opportunity to receive a free 12-month marketing plan that's going to be based on your specific goals. So we plan to hold that webinar on April 17th, and then we will have a link to register for it on our follow-up email with the recording to this webinar today. So we'll open up the floor for any questions that anybody may have. Remember, you can type your question into the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Just click on the hand icon and we'll unmute you.
And if you think of any questions after the call, you can feel free to email Chelsea or myself. It's just our first name, me being Jesse, JSSY at Educate to Motivate with the number 2 between, and Chelsea at Educate to Motivate. And we're always available to help with any questions you may have. Another thing is you could visit our website. Some of your questions might be easy to answer, and a good thing to do is to follow our blog, because we do have different educational pieces that we post, sometimes correlating to our upcoming webinars and sometimes not. So we kind of try to keep up to date with anything that's in the digital world.
Okay, it does look like we do have one question. It's from Beth. So Beth, let's see.
What is the average marketing budget for an established law firm? That's a good question, Beth. I'm not sure if I have the exact number at the moment. It's something that I'd have to, but of course that always, it's specific to the company. So whether or not they're allocating with a specific amount to the marketing department, um, I think it depends on location, the demographics of the company, and who exactly they're targeting. I don't know, Chelsea, do you have anything you would like to
Yeah,
add?
something else, I didn't include this in there, but something that's going to be included in your budget too is going to be like um, paying for salaries for whether you have marketing coordinators or if you're going to outsource. A lot of attorneys that we work with and financial advisors also, they completely outsource their marketing to different marketing companies, and those marketing companies are in charge of doing everything. So they don't have people in house that do their marketing for them. They just push it all out to a different company and say, hey, this is what we want, do your thing, whatever. But I agree with Jesse. I think it just depends completely.
Thanks, Beth.
It looks like that's the only question that we have.
All right, great. Well, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope you all have a wonderful day. And again, if you have any follow-up questions that you'd like to talk to Chelsea and I, our numbers on our closing slide. And be sure to follow us on our LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+. We post our recordings on YouTube as well as SlideShare. So stay tuned for that if you missed any part or need to go back. And then be sure to register for our part 2 in just 2 weeks.
Great.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.